think we're going to start with an exercise. So everybody's done this, right? Some point or another, you put the hands together like this. It's not just putting the hands near each other. It's bringing the attention or awareness here into the palms of the hands and into the field of energy that's between the palms of the hands. We do this because our physical form is filled with and surrounded by the light of being. You can feel the energy in there. If you bring the hands together, you kind of compress the energy a little bit. And as it compresses, it feels more intense. And you can pull it away a little bit. And as you pull it away, it becomes brighter and lighter. Then you push again, it becomes more intense again. We can play with that energy just a little bit in order to get a feel for what's going on. Some of you may be feeling tingling in the palms of your hands or warmth. It's very common because what we're feeling, obviously, we're not feeling the skin. We're feeling the actual energy of life that's there. It's like oozing out of us at every point. You can do it this way too. You can feel, you don't touch the skin, but you can feel it, if you feel any parts of the being. In fact, there are massage techniques which are on my website, my knowledge base, that describe how you can massage your own energy field, especially if you have damage or something. I broke this wrist twice. I broke my wrist twice, but so this is very soothing. This is very soothing for my wrist to do this. Right? Okay. That's one way to experience the field. It's like directly through the hands because the hands are so sensitive and they're big hand chakras here, fingertips and in the palms of the hands. It's a very nice way to get a feel for it. But if we take our hands and we put them together and you can feel that energy, I hope everybody can. Is there anybody who can't feel the energy when they put their hands together? Anybody? Pretty clear? I'm opening my question and answer box. Oh, very nice. Oh, yes. So, one dear friend who's here is saying, a local friend is saying that during an energy training session, her brother and others were asked to create energy balls between their hands, then to toss them to cats that were in the room. What? And the cats actually played with the energy balls. Oh, that does not surprise me. Cats are so intuitive, right? They're so psychic. Yeah. But dogs didn't seem to notice them. Oh, that's hilarious. Wow. Wow. Yeah, I don't know how many of you have cats. We don't have any pets here, but when I was young, I had cats, and I remember it was really common to be in a quiet room with a cat, and all of a sudden the cat looks up and it like tracks something going through the room. And it's like there was nothing there. But that happened all the time when I had cats, because they were kind of like they were just aware of what was going on at some of the subtler levels of creation. On that note, let's go ahead for those of you who are not familiar and let's look at the chart because, and we've got one person who's not feeling it too. Okay. Let's look at the chart then and see if a visual representation will help bring the message out in a deeper way. So share screen. Okay, here and here. All right. So hang on. There we are. Okay. So this chart is a representation of the field of creation. And the field of light, if you can see my cursor, is down here in the noetic level. So when I'm talking about the ocean of light, I'm really talking about the noetic level. And when I do the energy field reports, I'm doing reports on this level of our world. Now, in this particular chart, is showing what a person looks like energetically, sort of. as well as a flat two-dimensional image can possibly do that. And we have the three layers of form: physical, mental, emotional, and noetic. And then we have this lotus shape that represents the light of life, the living presence within the physical form. Also can be referred to as the etheric double. And the noetic field, or the noetic body, is that very abstract level of our form, which you feel when you put the hands together like that. That's one of the ways of experiencing it. Yeah, the noetic body, full of light. And so it's got the superficial level of the noetic field. And so the noetic body exists within the noetic field. The mental emotional exists within the mental emotional field, and the physical body obviously exists within the physical field. And the noetic body has both a superficial level and a very, very subtle level. And the subtlest level of the noetic body is where the really interesting aspects of the noetic field are found, and where energy healing occurs, because the transformation or the transfiguration of the surface of life. Let's see if I'm efficient here. Oh, I'm so efficient. So the transformation or the transfiguration of the physical level of life is based on its foundation, and the foundation of the physical are these subtler levels. And the mental emotional body, that's why a lot of times I would say probably all of you who are here because you know that your feelings and your thinking impact or influence your physical body, right? We know this. But the foundation of even the mental and emotional body is the noetic body. And deep down in the noetic body, let me add one more thing, is a field. The noetic field has no constraints of the laws of nature that control the material field. Almost no constraints of space or time. And deep down in the core of the noetic body, we have this point right here. Maybe we'll grab this little guy and pull him down a little bit there. Here, this point. This is where the transformation or the transfiguration, the seeds of transformation occur. Right there. And it's full of light, because the field is also full of light. Let's come back to a minute for anybody who's maybe you felt it, but you didn't feel it like intensely, or maybe we have a couple people who don't feel it. So let's just look for a minute at what we can do as far as a healing. Yes, good question about how to do the. Okay, so the person who said they couldn't feel it said what they are feeling is the air, which is pretty cool that you can even feel air, right? Feel the air, and it feels like breath between the palms. Is that what you mean? Yes, that is what I mean. Because the energy has a kind of breath to it. It does have a kind of breath. It's beautiful that you perceive that there's a, what is it? Oh, okay. That you perceived an oscillation or a pulsation like the breath between the hands. That's actually a really beautiful, really clear perception, actually. Lovely. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And then we have a dear friend in the West Coast saying, light allows clearer and clearer vision. It certainly does. Can we do a healing to encompass the multidimensional levels of perceiving? Absolutely, because perception exists as a byproduct of our senses, physical senses of perception, among other things. But also perception in its fundamental nature is not linked directly to the senses of perception. There are many ways to perceive things. And like the heart has its own system of perception. So multidimensional levels of perceiving, multidimensional values of vision and light, superseding the surface level of boundaries and allowing the graceful shift of awareness. That, yes, let's just do that. Let's do that. You wrote this so beautifully, my dear. I have a feeling that you could probably lead such a healing. But by the grace of God, I feel blessed to be the person in the hot seat tonight. So next time or one of these times, come back, come join me for the webinars again, the workshops again, and you'll be most welcome. Anyway, I'm telling you what I'm doing. I'm telling you every single step of the internal and external process of the healing. I close my eyes. I bring awareness to the altar of God, to the lap of, I feel my being falling into the lap of God, that place of utmost security, softness, presence, sweetness, truth, trust emerges from being in a place of truth and love. Breath settles down. Breath stops. Whole body, the whole body wakes up in its perceptual potential. Obviously, the senses of perception are not the only place where we perceive. And of course, we feel through our whole bodies, right? So we see only through the eyes, we hear only through the ears, but we feel through every particle of our being. And as awareness settles down to the subtler levels, as we close the eyes, awareness settles down to quieter levels of experience, more expanded expressions of consciousness. And at those deeper layers, there are fewer divisions between the senses of perception. That's why in our world, synesthesia is a thing. Synesthesia is an anomaly that has been identified by modern science as an effect of the senses of perception overlapping with each other, where you can hear colors and you can see flavors. You can feel sounds. You can feel colors. As awareness goes into that mode of all these senses, and I know that hearing, according to the Vedic system, is considered the subtlest of the senses, but feeling unites the senses. Feeling unites the senses because there are many reasons for this, even physiologically. Babies, for example, is the first sense that we develop in utero is feeling, not sound, feeling. So it's our first sense. So we go into feeling mode, actually. And what we're doing is we're looking at the interface between feeling and seeing. So as you feel your presence, feel the living presence in the body. We also see the body. We see the outer expression of the body, but we also see and feel the inner forms of the body. All the organs in the body, the organs and systems. As the awareness becomes quiet, it becomes possible to isolate the awareness into the difference between feeling the whole body to feeling just as a big thing. You could say the body is a big thing, to feeling the body as a collective of organs and systems, and then of tissues. We're feeling in. We're feeling into the body. First, it's just the body. Then it is all the systems of the body. We can feel into the tissues in all the organs, the tissues. Feel the body as a collection of cells. It's still the same body, it still has all the systems and organs, but we can feel the body as the community of cells that make up our bodies. And each cell has its own unique intelligence and intention and knowledge of its place within the collective. This knowledge is born of the inner brain of each cell, which is the nucleus of the cell, wherein the DNA and the epigenome work to form the cell into its appropriate shape so that it fits with the collective of all the cells in the body, so that it knows its status and its position and its place. That level of intelligence is a collective level of intelligence. The cells are the collective intelligence received from the ancestors, DNA and epigenome. So at this point, awareness stretches a little bit to embrace and honor and appreciate the endless line of mothers and fathers who have given themselves to the creation of this body. This is a shift. This is a big shift. A shift from feeling the body as a collection of cells, each with their own intelligence, to feeling into the intelligence of the cell, and then finding a vast lineage of ancestral intelligence deep within the core of the cells. The annals of time awaken. They open up and reveal themselves. So many mothers and so many fathers, and all of them connected through a thread of love, because it is love, usually 99% of the time, most of the time, that brings mothers and fathers together. And it is certainly love that endows parents with the resources to raise children to adulthood. Obviously, there are little exceptions here and there, but most of them, this is tradition. This is tradition. Parents passing their knowledge down. And as we look at that tradition and the tremendously incredible people who make up our lineage, our love extends to them. For they were amazing people. They were the survivors. They were resourceful. They were surviving. They were builders. They built civilizations, the great civilizations of our world, right? Absolutely incredible, absolutely amazing. And by the grace of God, they did it. By the grace of God, we go back to the lap of God where we started, bringing our ancestors along. My Lord, these are your people. Thank you for giving them to each one of us. Thank you for giving each one of us a lineage of amazing people who were survivors and builders and creators, and who loved their children and helped raise them to adulthood. It's that raising part. It's so beautiful. On the lap of God, we're offering it. And the ability, may the ability to perceive the glory of and mystery of this process, the fascination of how human beings extend through the course of time and how our bodies exist as a byproduct of this beautiful energetic structure of love. Essentially, it's it's love in its finest, most exalted. It's your love. It's God's love. God's love endowed the family lineages to extend from the past to the future. Right there, time opens up and awareness starts to feel into the noetic body full, because it's in the noetic body that time becomes so very fluid. Right? We were looking first at space and time now. Yeah, so fluid. Time opens up, and time has a living presence. So we feel the living presence of time within us that ebbs and flows. It can slow down, it can speed up, it can stop, it can bend and conform to the will of the divine. And as we watch the flowing, the living presence of time answer to the will of the divine, our own awareness begins to learn and conform to that will. Look at the cycles of time. They nestle, the big ones inside the small ones, and they make circles within circles within circles, right? And each point on each circle has its own unique value or quality that makes it, that defines it, that defines it. All of it is created by the divine. Time is a very abstract thing, and it's just lovely. It's lovely to put our attention here, because what we're doing is we're refining the flow of attention. We're teaching our nervous systems. We're teaching our attention. We're teaching the intelligence within every cell. We're teaching it because we choose to put our attention on something so abstract and yet something so profound and universal and absolute, which naturally, without any guidance from humanity, flows according to the intentions of the divine. It's like the garland around the over the shoulders of the mother of creation. Her garland is this garland of all time and all space. It's a living presence, and it's within us. And if we ask our bodies, where is that time within us? We find that there are regulating mechanisms in the brain, of course, for measuring time. But the real measuring implements, the real gauges, are in the chest. Awareness comes to the chest because here we find the cycles expressed as living tissue in the breath, right? The in and out breath is a cycle. It's this one cycle after another. The beating of the heart, it's a cycle. We have bigger cycles in the digestion and the hormonal patterns and like that. But the cycles that allow us to regulate and understand and comprehend time most efficiently are the breath and the heart, because these cycles adhere to the intelligence of perception, the intelligence of the mind. The cycle of the breath is so comprehensible, isn't it? It's just right there. It's like, oh yeah, I got that. That's just a few seconds long. Like, I get it. I get it. We all get it. Here we find the living presence of time in our hearts and in our lungs. And here we offer our dedication to aligning ourselves, our intelligence. We align our intelligence with the will of the divine. Here, my Lord, thy will be done. Thy will be done. This is your time that you have given us a clock right inside our bodies. Bless you. Because, right, we see even the heartbeat is inside the breath, right? So it's like the larger cycles and the smaller cycles. It's right there. So beautiful. And as we offer that dedication for alignment back to the will of God, back to the divine, back to the lap of God, our awareness goes. It runs to that place of comfort and grace and ease. The chest fills with such deep appreciation and deep love for the nature of the human system, of a human being, human bodies, human consciousness. Fills big and fills the cycles of time with love. And it returns a love to the ancestral lineage, to the ancestral archive of equal value to the love of those generations upon generations upon generations upon generations of ancestors. This is the gift that goes to the subcellular level of the body. It starts in the chest, in the respiratory and circulatory systems. And of course, here it also touches the immune system because the thymus is right there in the middle of the chest. But it extends ultimately to the whole body because it's a pretty big love, right? We think of how big is the love. The love of the divine is so big we can't even comprehend it. And the love that makes up the foundation of our entire ancestral archive going back hundreds of thousands, a million years, a lot of years, is a big love. And this speaks directly to the physical body, to the physical form. I think it's very good. I'm noticing it's very good that the immune system is also included because we have enough people in the audience who have some inflammation in the body as well. So it's an upgrade for anybody who has issues with the lungs, with the respiratory, with the circulatory system. This is so good for the circulatory system, but it's so good that the immune system is there too. Because one of the things about raising children is that the parents have to set boundaries in order to produce offspring who are able to survive well and thrive into adulthood. All right. Let's take a minute to come out and we'll analyze what happened just a bit. Turn our attention again more to the field. Just take a minute here. Sometimes the medicine that comes, the fundamental of divinity. Oh, back to the chart for just a second, just to kind of give you like a perspective on what we just did, because we did what, right? Okay, here's what I want you to see in this chart. I want you to see this word here, the fundamentals of divinity. Now, the way this chart is organized, the most abstract forms emerge first, and then the more concrete forms. So down here at the bottom of the causal body, the noetic body, I used to call it causal. Down here at the bottom of the causal body, we have these fundamental structures. And as you can see, this word fundamentals of divinity is pretty deep, pretty far down on the spectrum here. And light medicines are comprised or composed of the fundamentals of divinity. These very, very simple universal forms that have always existed. They're baked into the nature of human experience and we have access to them through our awareness, such as love. And they're simple. They're simple enough that basically anybody can comprehend them. If I say love, pretty much everybody knows what I'm talking about. The love was coming together with other forms such as dedication. Remember, there was sort of like a devotion was in there, a devotion or dedication to aligning with natural law, which is a very good thing to do. We're moving our awareness around, right? Moving it from the surface down to the finer level, but at the same time, staying connected, like understanding how the finer level connects to the surface. So both there's the surface, but there's also the finer level. So it's like if you went into the deep forest, but you know, tied a string to the first tree as you walked into the forest. You kept the string going as you walked into the depths of the forest. You could still find your way back, something like that. That we were looking at the surface level. We started, we had this perception of the body. We started with the body, which is very surface level, physical body. And then we went in and in and in. We went to fine levels of the body. And then we went into the absolute levels, the very deep levels. We made our way all the way to God. How amazing is that? And then when we did that, that's when the miracle of the healing happened. You notice that was a major turning point in that healing session. Was because that's when things got interesting, started to change. That's where transformations kicked in. Nothing happens without God. Nothing happens without God's blessing and grace.